Anna Gardner craved adventure. She was no stranger to it growing up. Her parents took her and her brother on various exotic outings: the Amazon rainforest, the pyramids in Memphis, the Colosseum, several more she couldn't quite remember. By the age of 15, she'd already visited at least 4 of the 15 wonders of the world. Now she works in retail, where she can only daydream of her travels as a kid, which seems like some different lifetime. She bags groceries for the people of Redbriar, then comes home to an equally boring, yet loving boyfriend in an apartment that neither of them can fully afford. While the transition from an exciting life to one of dullness did not happen immediately upon moving out, the financial trouble sure did. Pancreatic cancer, stage 4. A week into Anna's sophomore year in college, she got a call from her mom. Her dad had 4 months to live. Apparently, he had been on radiation therapy for several months before the fateful call. Anna was furious they didn't call as soon as they got the diagnosis, but her mom later explained they didn't want to interrupt her freshman midterms. Then, on May 13, 2007, Anna's dad died. Her dad served as the pin keeping the family together, with extended family reunions and outings becoming a rarity after he died. Anna rarely spoke with her mom, only on holidays and her birthday. She wouldn't admit it, but deep down, Anna fostered a sort of resentment toward her mom for waiting so long to make that dreaded phone call. "Hey honey, how was work?" Anna's boyfriend Tom chimed as she walked in. She tossed her purse on the bar and sat on the couch, her leg partially over Tom's. "I bet you know who visited today, like she does every Wednesday." Tom perked up. "The old lady with that dog? You betcha. And? What did she ask for this time?" Anna sighed, putting her head against Tom's shoulder. "Ask isn't really the word, you know. Demanded is more like it. She needed eggs, and she was sure to say that they were for her dog Toby, because we had the affordable shitty eggs he likes." "Seriously?" Anna nodded. She went on this whole tirade about how our eggs aren't good enough for anyone but dogs to eat. After she made her purchase and her announcement, she marched out. "I want to see her. She never comes in on my shift. She must like you, Annie." The lady's first name was Gelda. That's all Anna knew about her, which she was only able to discern after she bought a box of wine, and that was another story by itself. When they asked for her driver's license, she yelled it was an act of disgrace and age discrimination, even though they were only following policy. Anna imagined Gelda had a quiet life, with Toby the only thing willing to stick around, but even he might have offed himself the second he got the chance. Gelda's was the personality one would get if there wasn't enough adventure in someone's life. The banality that would be inflicted on someone who did nothing but worry and stress without any modicum of happiness or excitement. The next day would be a cookie-cutter copy of the previous, just as it had been for the 6 months since Anna started working at the mart. The days all ran together that she had a hard time keeping track of what she did each day. But there was a routine she would follow. She'd get up, take a shower, brush her teeth, get some toast, and walk to work. That much she remembered. She only worked a half-mile away, which helped immensely considering a car and gas were not an option given the couple's income. But last night's revelation left Anna with a gross feeling in her gut. If she didn't act fast, eventually she'd reach a point of no return and become Gelda. She'd suddenly be the one demeaning minimum wage workers about the quality of goods they sold. So she decided to be a little late for work. One day wouldn't hurt after all. Redbriar was a beautiful city for those who got out to witness it. It was a shy cottagecore village nestled between a mountain edge and a lake. The lake bustled with excitement during the warmer months, and was one of Anna's favorite places given she had a ride to get there. If she got there at the right time, the sunlight would beam off the surface like a million diamonds. There was a family of geese that lived nearby, trailing the water with all the adorable goslings. In her old life, Anna described herself as living similar to a goose, hopping between exotic places but always returning home when she missed it. But this time she would keep her adventure to the town, escape she hardly explored given she lived in the heart of it. She walked past a bakery shop and stopped a moment to breathe in the sweet air. This morning's batch of goods smelled like warm vanilla cake and strawberry donuts. This was the bakery where Tom bought her birthday cake one year. This had been an adventure for Tom, surprising Anna with a beautifully crafted white frosted chocolate cake, and it was one moment she cherished. It wasn't his fault that they couldn't make the lavish trips that she was used to growing up. They were just victims of the times. Maybe someday Anna could live a life of absolute luxury without a care in the world, able to travel anywhere she wanted, but before that could happen, she'd have to finish school. After an hour of walking around town, Anna stopped at the corner of Brook and Falter, inquisitiveness overtaking her face. It was a new street. Enville Avenue, the sign read, which was written in pink on top of an unfamiliar white sign. The road began in asphalt and changed to cobblestone farther up a ways. White traffic pillars blocked the road from any vehicle traffic. The street called for her. Sure, she didn't get out in the city much, but how could she miss an entire road along a path she walked every single day? The pink sign struck her as odd, as all the rest of the signs were green, but it somehow seemed to fit in. She started on Enville, eyes scanning the colorful cottages and buildings that traced the road. A rainbow of colors with stones sparkling like crystal in the morning light. There was no way she had no memory of a dazzling street like this existing. This had to be something new. A park, perhaps. Suddenly, she was approached by a man sporting a mint green checkered jacket and brown pants. "Well, good morning to you, miss. Can I interest you in some of my treats? Maybe a cupcake." He offered a white cupcake covered in a red wrapper. "They're all in the house, and freshly made." "Oh no," Anna said, pursing her lips. "I'm just passing by." The man acted immediately, placing the cupcake into Anna's hand and patting her gently. "No worries here, miss. If any time while you're on Enville and you pass somebody who could use a delicious cupcake like that, feel free to pass it along or take it for yourself if you fancy." The cupcake filled her senses with pink cotton candy. She didn't admit it, but it took everything she had to keep from trying it right then. She only ate sweets on special occasion, but this morning she was tempted to drop her diet. She thanked the man and continued walking. While she was startled by his approach at first, his warm, friendly tone unarmed her. He had an aura about him that was calming, but Anna couldn't quite put her finger on why that was. He seemed familiar. Soon the street turned denser with denizens. She felt a vague sense of déjà vu, as if she should know these people or have seen them before. Some she recognized on her walks to work, but the rest of them felt like long-lost schoolmates, faces she knew but names she couldn't recall. The road ended at an expansive shopping square. The square housed dozens of vendors with stalls covered in ornate designs and symbols. Those working the stalls were each dressed in similar attire to the man before, however with a different array of natural earth tones. They all had porcelain-perfect, unblemished skin and bright, beautiful eyes. They moved and talked with immense, inviting grace. The whole place reminded her of the Grand Bazaar in Istanbul. Anna found herself at a small tent adorned with red and purple gilded lettering. A shimmer covered the ground beneath. Dreamweavers, it said. This must be some kind of mystic or fortune reader's tent, she surmised. The area around her suddenly grew quiet. Shoppers and other folks seemed to avoid the area. She crawled into the tent, keeping her purse tight in her hand in case any bad actors were lurking nearby. The tent gave way to a bright room. Pastel pink and yellow tufts of cotton graced the light purple walls beneath a bright light. Anna felt as if she were floating in the morning sky. A soft acoustic guitar piece sounded above. "Hello? Is anyone in here?" There was a pause, then, "Of course there is, darling." The voice startled Anna. It was a deep, droning voice coming from a woman behind the curtain near the back of the room. Anna's first thought was that the lady was hiding, but upon further inspection, She had been adding a book to an old bookshelf. Anna's eyes traced the rest of the walls, wondering if behind each one was another bookshelf. Had this been a library? Please don't mind me. I don't get visitors in here too often. The others usually get all the attention, the lady said, ending as if there was more that could be said. She was clad in apparel different than those outside. While the vendors outside wore rich earthen tones, the lady wore a pink cape and white gloves. Under the cloak was a black pair of pants and a flowy dark shirt. The fingers of her gloves looked as if they had been gently dipped in a tub of golden glitter. The lady offered her hand. My name is Esma. And yours? Anna. Esma's hand sent a surge of energy through Anna's body. It was as if her body had been sleeping, reawakened by Esma's touch. The lady's gaze was electric. Ah, yes, such a beautiful name. By the way you walk, I would say it fits you well. What do you mean? You handle yourself with grace, my dear, and you hold your head high. You don't conceal it. Most of my visitors seem to be a lot like you. She smiled, auburn lips parting to reveal a perfect set of white teeth. You also remind me of myself. I guess similar personalities attract each other, she giggled. Anna shifted uncomfortably. So, what do you sell here, Esma? She stammered. An experience. You see, all the others, her hands gestured to the outside, fingers each as long as a magician's wand. They sell trinkets and treats. One of a kind, truly, but what I offer goes beyond that. From her cloak, she offered a glass bottle. Inside was a fizzy pink drink. She shook it, which sent the bubbles in a mesmerizing pirouette. Anna swore she saw the liquid begin to glow, like a potion from a fairy tale. Anna broke Esma's glare and moved for the entrance, feeling uneasy. She got a sense of danger, particularly from the glowing concoction, but she didn't know why. I apologize, I truly do, but I don't have the money for anything. And really, I am not interested, she lied. Sure, if you ever change your mind, you know where to find me. She disappeared behind the curtain once again. It took seconds outside for Anna to attract another vendor. This one was a young boy, around 10, with short brown locks curled over his ears. Would you like a flower? The boy presented a blue flower unlike any she had seen before. It had a set of deep cerulean petals bleeding into white snow. They twisted up to form a bursting star. He evidently noticed Anna's fascination with the flower, as he added, They're called angel wishes. You can only get them on Invel. How much are they? Anna asked. The boy shook his head. There's nearly nothing here on Invel that's for sale. Most things here are free. He plucked a flower from the bunch. Here, take this one. Anna thanked the boy and then pointed at Esma's tent. Can you tell me about that lady? The boy's face darkened. That's Esma. I wouldn't waste your time in there when you have all this outside. There's plenty to do out here. Anna pressed. She offered me a pink vial. Any idea on what it is? The boy smiled. You'd have to ask her about that. I really ought to be going now. I need to share these wishes. He giggled and walked away, the scent of the flowers following him. She stuck the angel wish inside her purse. It perplexed Anna that she hadn't remembered the street before. If she had, she would have brought Tom along with her many times. It almost felt like a dream. Before she could leave, another Invel resident ran to her. Wait. She stopped. You can't leave without eating your cupcake. That's an Invel treat. Anna relented and took a bite of the cupcake. Its flavor sent shivers from her tongue down into her toes. It was unlike anything she tasted before. She couldn't stop. In mere seconds, she had eaten the entire thing. She went for another bite before realizing she had eaten it all. It left her disappointed. What was that? She asked. That was an Invel treat, the person repeated, grinning. They're just great, aren't they? Anna rushed home right away, hoping to pull Tom along on her next adventure to Envale Avenue. The taste of the Envale treat was still on her lips when she walked in. "Tom, you have to come with me right now." Anna could barely catch her breath. Tom jolted up. "What's wrong? What happened? You're home from work early." Anna felt so good she nearly twirled. "Tom, you have to come with me. I found this beautiful street with all these people. It was like a dream in real life." You skipped work?" Tom was taken aback. "You know John has that rule about missing shifts," Tom noted, frustrated. There had been a time where he showed up 15 minutes late for his shift, and John chewed him out in the back office. Tom couldn't imagine how their boss would react to skipping an entire shift. And this hadn't been the first time this had happened with Anna. "Tom, just come with me, please," she pleaded, completely ignoring Tom's question about work, as if she had forgotten that that was what she intended to do after leaving home that morning. "Fine, let me grab my coat." Anna dragged Tom back to the corner between Brooke and Falter. "What?" Anna exclaimed. "Where did it go?" She spun around, searching for Envale Avenue. "I swear, Tom, it was right here." "What was here?" Tom was agitated. He had his own shift at the mart in an hour, and he still needed to get ready. With all this time wasted, Tom wondered if this was an intentional move from Anna. She had a penchant for acting carelessly sometimes, but she took medicine for it. Perhaps she skipped a day or two. "Envale," Anna was wide-eyed. "It's gone." Anna dropped her head. "Tom, it was here." Tom started walking back to the house, annoyed. "Again, Anna, let's just go home. I have a shift to get to, so at least one of us still has a job." "Just go home," Anna sighed. She stayed behind, walking what was once Envale. The road was now nothing but a small alleyway behind two pubs. The path reeked of trash and sewage. Could she have imagined it? Her mind was known to play tricks on her when she hadn't taken her medication. Suddenly she remembered the flower she put in her purse from earlier, the angel's wish. And there it was, just as she remembered. "Tom." She turned around only to find her boyfriend gone. "He's probably furious at me," she thought. But the flower proved she wasn't crazy, at least. Envale was real. A figure approached Anna, nudging her side. "Excuse me, I think I heard you mention Envale?" Anna turned to the figure, a woman in her mid-40s, clothes in tatters and her hair in dreads. She smelled of dirt and funk. The lady's poor appearance did nothing to faze Anna, who gripped her shoulders in return. "You know of it? Did you see it too?" The lady spat, turning around to kneel against the side of the road. Traffic continued as normal on the route. "Yeah, I saw it." Exhaust filled the air. "My apartment was right up there." She pointed up, the building directly facing what used to be Envale. "I made the mistake of walking down that damn road each time it would appear." "Appear? Where does it go?" "Hell if I know. Seems to pop up at random times. Sometimes it would reappear once a day, but most times it's less frequent. More like once a year." "Once a year?" Anna shuddered at the thought. She wanted to return now. "How do you bring it back? Please tell me." "It's getting to you," the lady sighed. "It only takes a few visits." "So does everyone around here know about it?" Anna pushed. Just talking about Envale seemed to satisfy her newfound addiction. "You'd think that, given how long it's been here. I've seen it come and go the past 6 years, at least. My first time was great, got the whole tour and all. It was after my third time that things started to change. I started forgetting. Small things here and there. Now I've got years in the past that I can't remember shit about." She dropped her head. "Envale is a shitty place. It invites you in but takes something from you every time." Anna couldn't believe it. Envale was a regular thing in the city. Why hadn't anyone told her about it? "How do you bring it back?" The lady sighed once again. Can't you hear? I don't know what brings it back, but every time it does, I see someone go in and not come back. There's something shady going on in there. She stood up and took Anna's hands. You seem like a good girl. The good ones never seem to come back after several trips. Please stay away from it. Ignore it next time it comes around. If you remember me, come find me and I'll take you out for a drink to sober up. You'll need it. All things considered, Anna hoped she would never see that lady again. Not only was her smell getting to her, but she also annoyed her. She had the gift of seeing Invel so many times, but advised her to stay out? She wanted the place for herself, Anna accepted. Anna returned to work, enduring an earful from her manager John regarding her skipping the morning shift. She pleaded with him to let her keep her job. She promised it would never happen again, which seemed to work. But every day she made a point to walk near the corner of Brook and Falter to see if Invel showed up again. Then the days turned to weeks, then weeks to months. The Angel's Wish flower, which she had put in a vase on her bedroom windowsill with some roses, still shone as bright and beautiful as the moment she received it. It was as if it had not aged a day, while the roses were dried and brittle. She started referring to it as the Angel's promise. Someday it would come back to her. Then the day came. Once again on her way to work, there it was. It looks just as it did the last time. The trashy alleyway was gone, replaced by a wondrous road into the storybook town square. She wasted no time and ran down the street until she was in the square, stopping only to take deep breaths of the sweet air. The aroma of cupcakes, flowers, and sugar filled her lungs. She began to salivate. Once again she was approached by the man with the cupcake, which she happily took. Do you remember me? Anna asked. The man didn't, but she didn't mind. She was just happy to be back. This time, Anna took time to visit each stall. She took a flower from the little boy, was given a jeweled necklace from a girl in curly pigtails, a beautiful ring from another, and a painted rock from an older couple. Still, the grungy lady's words echoed in her mind about being given a tour. This was the one thing Anna wanted, needed most. How far did the lane go? How long could she walk it before it returned to regular Redbriar? She asked as much to the vendors of the avenue, but none of them seemed to know what she was talking about. There was no tour guide on Invel, but that sure was a good idea, they all agreed. Anna wanted to walk every inch of the area. Anna had been in the square for hours, it seemed, methodically visiting each stall, turning over and looking at every single thing offered to her. But there was one place she had not visited. She finally came to the mysterious red and purple tent, Dreamweavers. She walked in. Hello? Anna called. There was no response. Rather than waiting for Esma, she figured she would peek behind the curtains and look at what kinds of books the lady kept there. Surely they had some significance, otherwise they wouldn't have been hidden. Perhaps they could have been tales of Invel's history. If she could take one back to Tom, then he'd believe her. As Anna expected, the entire wall was a long curtain, behind which concealed 3 long columns of bookshelves. Each book was covered with dust. She picked one up and turned the cover, but the pages were blank. Well, hello there, Esma's voice echoed through the room. Anna, wasn't it? Anna quickly put the book back in its place on the bookshelf. Yes, she replied. She paused, then said, You remembered my name. Esma laughed. Of course I did. I remember everybody who walks down Invel, especially if they show up more than once. But none of the others do, Anna observed. You're right, they don't. Esma seemed to come from nowhere as she appeared next to Anna. Unlike the others, Esma's appearance changed. Her apparel was now solid white. Her gloves had disappeared, showing instead light pink skin and long white fingernails. We have several who return, but they don't often come back here. She gestured to her tent. So the question is, why are you here? You didn't seem to react well to me before." Anna didn't know, truly. "I was drawn here," she said, feeling ashamed. "I'm sorry if I disturbed you. I've just been waiting to come back here for so long." She paused, tears flooding her eyes. "I didn't know if I'd get another chance." There, my friend. Invel has been around for centuries. It's not going anywhere." "Where does it go?" "Now you are asking questions that I cannot even begin to answer. It would take me too long to explain." Anna nervously picked at her fingernail, chewing on her lip. "What was that pink stuff you offered me before?" "Oh, you mean this?" Esma pulled the same vial out of her cape. Instead of pink, it turned a deep blue. The bottle was frosted white. The color array was not unlike the angel's wish. "This is something of a specialty I have. You see, everybody outside has their own thing. They have their cakes, the jewelry, the flowers, the quilts, and they give them out freely to anybody who asks for them. But me? Well, I don't have as many of these to give away." Anna wanted it. "What is it?" Esma set the glass vial down on a nearby table. She sat down on a white padded chair, folding her hands in her lap. "That's a very good question, Anna. The answer is everything you have dreamed of." Her voice grew with intensity. "It's the taste you've been craving, a scratch to the itch you can't reach, the memory you had locked away. It's the adventure you've been dying for." Anna focused, drawn in by Esma's pitch. "How much is it worth? What do I have to pay?" "That's the tricky part, my dear." She stood up, dancing to Anna, gracefully holding the vial in her hand. Up close, the item seemed even more precious, more delicate. The glass vial itself was extremely thin, as if it could be broken by the gentlest of pressure, but it stayed true. "What's the price for everything you've ever wanted?" "I see now why you sell so few of them." Anna was defeated, knowing she had very little to offer. "Everything has a price, even in Invel. You see, the price of that cupcake you were given every time you walked up. You'll never find something that tastes that good again. The angel's wish that you stashed at home, nothing will ever be as beautiful. Memories of Invel cause other memories to dim and fade." She gently stroked Anna's chin. "And the price of this?" Anna gulped and nodded slowly. "If you drink this, I can promise you a life here on Invel. You'll live life carefree, with every day a new adventure. New friends to meet, new journeys to make." "And the catch?" "You'll live and stay here at Invel, a permanent resident. That is the price." Anna was tempted. At home she had a normal job and a life that was stable but was one she could never be satisfied with. She had Tom, but the two had grown more distant the past few weeks, especially after her last visit to Invel. Her brain hurt, her muscles seized as she weighed her options. She remembered the fun she had with her dad on their excursions when Anna was a child. He would love to see Invel Avenue. Then something clicked, as if a pin pricked a boil that was growing beneath her skin, relieving all the pain. She had her answer. Anna reached out and took the vial from Esma's delicate hands, feeling its warmth pulse through her fingers. She hesitated, staring into the blue liquid that seemed to glow with a life of its own. Her mind swirled with memories of her adventures, her father's laughter, and the mundane reality she had left behind. "What's it gonna be, Anna?" Esma's voice was soft, almost a whisper, but it echoed in her mind. Anna closed her eyes and took a deep breath. She could feel the weight of the vial in her hand, the promise of endless adventure, and the unknown that lay ahead. She opened her eyes, determination settling in. "I'm ready," she said, though the voice wavered with uncertainty. Esma's smile was enigmatic, her eyes reflecting the wisdom of ages. "Remember, Anna, every choice has its price, but only you can decide what is truly worth it." As Anna brought the vial to her lips, she glanced back at the entrance of the tent where the light from Invel Square filtered through. She saw the bustling vendors, the vibrant colors, and the surreal beauty that had captivated her. But she also saw glimpses of her life beyond. Tom, her apartment, the dreams she once had. The last thing she saw before everything faded was Esma's knowing smile. Welcome to Envale, Anna. Your journey has just begun. Now let me give you the grand tour. For the first time in a long time, Anna felt like she was exactly where she was meant to be. She was ready for an adventure.